Hello everyone and welcome to this video. We're excited to have you here, and in this video we will talk about some of the many advantages of using cloud computing. The following 15 minutes could be one of the more important quarter hours of your life because cloud computing is one of those transformative technologies that has the power to literally change your life. In this video, we will talk about perspectives of advantages and differing advantages of cloud computing as compared to the traditional own and control everything model. And we will begin to say that the advantages of cloud computing varies with different perspectives. As you know, the beauty of everything is in the eye of the beholder. So let's begin with the perspectives of large companies, authorities, or sizable governmental entities. And we can say that large-scale companies, authorities, or entities have different points of view and very different resources, wants, and needs than smaller entities. For example, large entities generally assign in-house computing solutions the following advantages or disadvantages. They have the ability to completely control data, distribute and own the hardware and most software. Owning the hardware requires personnel and storage space plus infrastructure, which incurs costs, electricity costs, inflexibility, plus generally adds slow scalability, maintenance, and in most tax systems, another feature to handle with equipment and property valuations, write-downs, regulations, taxes, etc. They obtain total control and responsibility for data security, updates, and disaster recovery. And this control comes for good and for bad. They control entity collaboration, data access, and usability, dependent on their owned infrastructure plus owned hardware and software. And as a consequence of the mentioned properties, the entity becomes slow at implementing new systems and slow to phase out the old systems. And therefore you can find old entities with computer systems from the 1960s or 1990s, or somewhat younger. Cloud computing, on the other hand, are assigned the following advantages or disadvantages. Cloud computing gives flexibility within the availability of bandwidth and latency. And we can say that current 5G plus, laser fiber, or satellite communications often provide more than sufficient bandwidth. Cloud computing's pay-for-use may often result in lower costs than owning all the infrastructure and hardware. And another property of cloud computing is that when you are using cloud computing, other people control your hardware, software, data security, and disaster recovery for good or for bad. And for large entities, this is a feature with complications dependent on the sensitivity of the data and the nature of the entity. Some entities have no problem with this at all, and some consider it a bad or even illegal thing that someone else has control over these matters because they are legally required to control it. And for the large entities, employee collaboration, data access, and usability is dependent on the infrastructure. And the question is once again, what infrastructure and who controls this infrastructure? And this is a serious matter in cloud computing. This is also a sensitive matter for many entities depending on their mission and who they represent. Is it, for example, possible for someone to simply shut down their cloud and shut down the entity? Or is the entity of such a kind that this is not a problem for the entity? Cloud computing businesses allow these large entities the ability to rapidly implement new systems. And if an employee has internet or network access, it can reach new systems without any new practical investments. And with cloud computing, the new system may run on the same infrastructure as the old or use new additional infrastructure in a non-visible or transparent fashion for the entity and employees. And this is very important for large entities. The ability to rapidly implement new systems and new technology. So what we can see here with large entities is that they very often may choose to create their own complete cloud solutions in controlled internet space, or partially use external cloud solutions, and that they are able to create infrastructure, hardware, and software in a similar fashion as cloud businesses, or simply buys their private cloud from a larger cloud business in friendly internet space. And the main cloud computing issue for large entities is who controls the external cloud infrastructure. And this is not trivial in the globalized world, and best treated by controlling the staffs and ownership of the external cloud services before uploading sensitive data to their control. Other than that, cloud services bring huge advantages to large entities unless they already own, run, and control such services in-house, creating many cloud computing advantages, but also taking the costs of ownership of the cloud and infrastructure. So let's talk some about the smaller entities. And for small-scale entities, for example, a small company, a new company, or a startup company, cloud computing may be extremely useful and gives the ability for the company to instantly grow and to flexibly acquire or drop computing resources. And in the current world of information technology and internet fame, this is a very important thing, as small companies that otherwise would have trouble servicing a tsunami of new customers. Some maybe recently having discovered a product. It could be a global viral internet attention to the company, products, and brand. And this may create volatile customer interest that can be resolved with cloud computing resources. And for small entities, cloud computing gives near instant access to technologies as fast as they are made available in the cloud or can be implemented in the cloud. And this is a very competitive trait, as a small company may be first by utilizing cloud computing and also may sell that first anywhere on the planet with internet access. Another possibility for the small company is to directly become an early user of a new technology. Cloud computing also gives the small company the ability to focus on its business instead of the technology and infrastructure and the ownership matters of the infrastructure and all technology issues. This means that cloud computing may enhance the performance of the company as compared to a company that needs to own and control all of these things in-house. Cloud computing also gives the small company the ability to grow its business without also employing a large information technology organization in-house. Some IT influencers even speak of a future AI and cloud-driven business creating dollar billionaires with a single employee, the billionaire. And another important thing for small companies is that cloud computing may erase borders between countries and allow the small company to pain-free and stealthily move across a border to a place where the grass appears to be greener. And cloud computing also increases the ability to employ employees from around the globe. So with cloud computing, the small company is suddenly no longer limited to its own country or its own federation or its own union or wherever the company may ordinarily recruit their employees. So right, for you with your personal laptop, desktop or mobile phone, what is cloud computing to you and what could cloud computing give you? And I will tell you that cloud computing gives you the ability to instantly grow your business as needed and to flexibly acquire or drop computing resources. Cloud computing gives you the ability to not lock your geographic location, but to retain your mobility and move your business, company, research, or studies wherever you please with respect to networking abilities. Cloud computing gives you instant access to technologies and collaboration on the internet. You can split your company to many places in the world. Cloud computing gives you instant access to computing infrastructure on the internet. And once again, cloud computing gives you the ability to focus on your business instead of the technology. And for small companies, this may be very valuable. And cloud computing gives you the ability to grow without direct hardware investments other than cloud rent and cloud competence, some of which you may learn in this video course. And with cloud computing, you don't have to buy expensive hardware to run Python data science and machine learning algorithms. You just need equipment which is good enough to access the cloud. Now it is time to continue to the next video where we will talk about a cloud computing tool called the Anaconda Cloud Notebook, which is a PaaS or Platform as a Service, which enables you to run Python programs and in particular data science, data analysis, and machine learning code without having to invest in any expensive hardware. All you need with the cloud is equipment which is good enough to access and use the cloud. All right, now it is time to continue to the next video. We look forward to see you in the next video.